There are moments when a policy decision doesn't just change rules, it jolts an entire digital ecosystem. Australia's new world-first law banning social media accounts for anyone under 16 is one of those moments. After a long standoff, Google's YouTube announced it will comply, saying it will lock users aged under 16 out of their accounts within days. The company called the move disappointing, warning it could make Australian children less safe on YouTube rather than safer. But for Canberra, this is the product of years of mounting evidence that platforms have not done enough to shield minors from harmful content. The law is explicit and severe. Platforms may not allow under 16s to hold accounts, and failure to comply carries fines of up to 50 million Australian dollars, about 32.5 million US dollars. The clash between a sovereign government and one of the world's dominant tech firms now marks a turning point in how societies regulate childhood online. YouTube's decision ends a fraught back and forth. Initially, the Australian government exempted YouTube, citing its educational uses and the role it plays in schools and learning. Google sought legal advice after being later included on the government's list of covered platforms. But with the law coming into force and a firm enforcement deadline, YouTube confirmed that any user under 16 would be automatically signed out of their account starting December 10th. That means they will retain the ability to watch public videos while logged out, but they will no longer be able to like, comment, subscribe, create content, or access personalized feeds. For parents, educators, and lawmakers, this is an awkward trade-off. The company says signed out viewing disables safety systems. The government says that restriction of accounts is necessary because voluntary or technical measures have proved insufficient to protect children at scale. One of the most immediate practical puzzles is age verification. YouTube has not publicly detailed how it will reliably confirm a user's age across millions of accounts without raising new privacy concerns. Effective verification at scale normally requires either government ID checks, third-party identity services, or biometric solutions, all of which carry costs, data protection risks, and potential exclusionary effects for children who lack ID. YouTube warns that without a seamless verification system, many young users will simply create accounts using false birth dates or migrate to lesser-known platforms that are not yet regulated. This migration risk is central to the company's argument. Forcing children offline from their established accounts, profiles, and parental controls could push them into smaller apps or unmoderated corners of the web where risks are higher and protections weaker. The policy will especially hit teen creators and small publishers. According to Australia's eSafety Commissioner, roughly 325,000 Australians aged 13 to 15 currently hold YouTube accounts, a population that includes hobbyist creators, educational content producers, and nascent influencers building audiences. Overnight, those channels risk being frozen. Creators under 16 will lose the ability to post new videos, interact with followers, or monetize their content. For some, YouTube isn't purely social. It's a learning platform, a community, or an income stream. The abrupt cutoff raises questions about fairness and transitional support. Will platforms allow supervised family accounts, archive content, or provide pathways for creators to verify age and regain access? So far, the public guidance is thin, and creators face significant uncertainty about how to protect their work, audiences, and livelihoods. The eSafety Commissioner's data underscores the seriousness of the rationale. More than 1/3 of Australians aged 10 to 15 reported seeing harmful content on YouTube, the highest proportion across the major platforms. Supporters of the ban argue that tech firms have repeatedly failed to prioritize young users and that only enforceable legal restrictions will compel systemic change. Critics counter that the law oversimplifies a complex problem. Digital literacy, parental engagement, education systems, and better moderation tools all matter. Minister Annika Wells publicly highlighted the paradox she sees in YouTube's warnings. If YouTube believes the platform is unsafe in a logged-out state, she argues, the fix is for YouTube to make its site safer, not to resist a law intended to protect children. Canberra is already preparing to widen the list of platforms covered by the law as new apps attract underage users, acknowledging the fluid nature of youth online behavior. Almost every major platform named by Australia has signaled compliance. Meta, Facebook and Instagram, TikTok and Snapchat have agreed to follow the rules. Only Elon Musk's X and Reddit have not publicly committed, leaving open the possibility of enforcement battles in the courts. For companies that comply, the law introduces a hard compliance window and significant penalties, incentivizing rapid technical and legal work to implement age checks and sign-out mechanics. But the technical fixes are not purely engineering problems. They are legal and ethical puzzles about identity, consent, and data protection. Companies must balance regulatory obedience with user privacy, build scalable verification systems, and plan for social consequences, including the very real possibility that young people will circumvent rules or move to unregulated apps. Globally, Australia's move is being watched closely. If the law appears to reduce minors' exposure to harmful content, other countries may follow, creating a patchwork of national rules that tech companies must navigate. If it leads to mass migration of underage users to darker corners of the internet, it could be cited as a cautionary tale. The debate also raises deeper normative questions. Who decides what constitutes acceptable access for minors? Should states set minimum ages for social media participation, or should platforms refine safety tools and parental controls? The answers will shape how societies balance free expression, childhood development, and safety in the digital age. Australia effectively becomes a testing ground. Policymakers elsewhere will measure both the law's protective impact and the practical fallout for creators, education, and child welfare. For now, the outcome is uncertain and the stakes are high. YouTube's compliance signals that Australia's law has teeth, yet both the company and Canberra warn of real trade-offs and unintended consequences. Parents, teachers, teen creators, and regulators must rapidly adapt to a shifting landscape. Will the law reduce harm, or will it simply reroute risks to less visible platforms? Can verification systems be built in ways that respect privacy and inclusion? And crucially, will tech companies step up to offer better, smarter protections for young users? Or will states be forced to legislate ever more intrusive measures? As December 10th approaches, Australia's experiment will reveal lessons that could echo around the world. The conversation about children and the internet has entered a new phase, one in which legal rules, platform design, parental responsibility, and public health all collide. The outcome will affect not just Australian teens, but how democracies regulate digital childhood for years to come.